How you are in the world matters. Overwhelm is inevitable and optional. Time to listen up and make it optional for you. Are you sick of having tough days? You know, those days where you feel like you're pushing and battling all day and you keep waiting for, something to end so that you can just catch a break, and you keep expecting it to get better, and then in the end you're like, oh man, this is just another of those days where I'm just pushing and battling and I'm really fed up with this. If you've got to that stage where you recognise a kind of weariness, it's like, why does life have to be so hard? It's just too much. It all just seems a bit pointless. You know, you're putting a lot of energy into getting through tough days. Life's become a battle. You're successful. You know, you love your home. You've got your friends and family, your animals, whatever's important to you. You do work that you like your work, but it's just something's wrong. You know, your life is just a bit tougher, and some days are just too damn hard. This episode's for you, especially. So firstly, I think it's really important to just pause and notice. Notice what a tough day means to you, what it feels like, how much energy it takes, and what is your reaction to that tough day. So say you get through the day at work and then, you're at home. Do you become, or have you become, the person in your family who people around you have learned to avoid, or learnt to monitor your mood before approaching you or asking you for anything? Or have they kind of given up expecting you to be your old self? You know, they just expect that on tough days you're just not going to be yourself, and they feel sad about it, but they kind of just given up. And that's bugging you, because you are not this person. You are not the person who just gets through and is snappy and can't be present and is always bugged by stuff filling up their mind with more stuff to do, more stuff to battle through. That's not you. This is not what you wanted for your life. So this is a kind of long-term reflection. This isn't just a one-off day, but we are going to look at how to turn around a one-off day, because I think the only time that we're really likely to do this kind of these kind of practices and these kind of life-changing things, this work, is when we're desperate. So the best will in the world, it's unlikely that if I gave you something that would help you avoid getting into a tough day, you're less likely to do it than if I give you something for a tough day. I just think that's life. That's how we are. So just start by asking yourself the question, is this becoming a weary habit and I'm getting bored of it and I'm getting fed up and I don't really like myself when I'm having constant tough days? And it's not that every day is really hard, it's just that there's too many tough days, there's too many battles, and I don't like what's going on in my life. So just pause to reflect on how long this has been going on. Has it kind of crept up on you? And is it something that maybe you're only just starting to realise because actually you thought you were doing really well, because you're really good at getting through, you're really good at getting stuff done, you are the go-to person to get stuff done, you are reliable, you're highly conscientious, you never let people down, you're always there for people. So actually this is a little bit of a surprise that you're realising, I don't know, just think about it for you, because this isn't about anyone else, this isn't a judgment, this is just about you. If you're getting more and more days that are feeling tough when you're battling through, notice that now. Acknowledge it, and then notice what comes up. Notice if there's resistance to acknowledging this, if there's shame, if there's like fear and anxiety and like, oh my God, what's going on? You're right, this has been going on for years, Heidi. Just notice what comes up with it. It's like another layer of muck that prevents you seeing clearly. So fear and shame are one of the oldest kind of emotive reactions to keep us safe. So when we get them reacted by a question like, how long has this been going on? We're not going to like it. It's going to be horrible. So if you notice stuff coming up and you're kind of like, no, this isn't me, this is awful, how did this happen? No, I thought I had it all together. Just notice that too, and just be a little bit kinder to yourself. Because actually any kind of transformational work tends to involve dealing with that kind of stuff. So just be kind, be gentle, but acknowledge, yeah, I'm having too many tough days and it's wearying. You know, it's more than like I'm sick of it. It's like, it's just boring. I want a way out. And then what we'll do is we'll give you some things to use actually on a tough day, because you're more likely to use them on a tough day. So the next question I've got for you is, how do you react to your tough days? So what happens? Because tough days don't just come along. Sometimes we make them better, sometimes we make them worse. And what we need to do is be aware of what works for us now, and then always able to change and adjust in the future, because there isn't one solution forever, because change is constant. We go through different seasons of our lives. There are different seasons of the year, all sorts of things going on. There are different cycles to a month if you're female, and all of this is important. So it's about the skill. For me, it's always coming back to self-awareness, which I teach through neutral noticing completely neutrally what's going on for you, usually in your body, because that gets you out of your head and gives you a break from the overwhelm. So pausing for a moment and noticing, in general, how do you react when you suddenly realise you're having one of those days when everything is in your way, when it's one disruption after another, when you just wanted to get that done, but it's just not happening, whether it's a tech issue, whether it's, colleagues, whether it's traffic lights, whether, anything, kids, whatever. Or the dog's just vomited everywhere. There's always going to be something, right? So notice, just reflect for a moment. How am I usually nowadays? Am I able to go, oh, look, I'm having a funny day, and kind of detach from it and keep your cool? Or have you noticed that increasingly that's getting really hard? So for me, one of the signs that I didn't realise, but I would now know, would be that I was closer to tears, more reactive, and just snappier with everyone, and more judgmental with everything, and more despairing of everything, and just more negative of everything. Now, I'm really, really grateful for my journey, even though it was very painful, because I don't get like that now. So I've learnt the skills. I've built up my self-awareness. That doesn't mean I never lose my cool, and it doesn't mean I never have tough days, and it doesn't mean I never forget those skills in the moment and swear and shout and spit my dummy. It doesn't mean I never do that. It means that it's easier and faster to get back to myself, get my equanimity back, keep my cool, stop horrible stuff coming out of my mouth at people, and stop horrible thoughts bombarding me and being unkind to myself. So this is a skill, and it can be learned, and it's why people meditate and practice mindfulness and all sorts of things. So just reflecting for a moment on what your reaction tends to be when your day starts to go to pot is really helpful, because then you know where you are. It's just awareness. There's no need to judge it and say, God, I'm hopeless at this stuff. Just notice where you are at the moment, and notice if that's changed. Notice what comes up for you. So if you're now judging yourself about things, another layer of muck, let it go. Just notice neutrally what's going on. So a real neutral noticing practice for this would be, yes, I've noticed that I'm getting really weary of the pattern of tough days. Yes, I'm unhappy with my overreactive response to those days, which is probably making them worse. And then the third one would be, in which case, Heidi, just tell me what to do. Give me the goodies. Okay, here's the goodies. You pause in the middle of the mayhem, in the middle of the chaos, in the middle of swearing, and you just stop and ask this question. What would this look like if it were easy? And right now you'd be thinking, Heidi, you are bonkers. There's no way I can pause in the middle of a major storm and ask myself nicely, what would this look like if it were easy? Because obviously it's not easy. If it was easy, I wouldn't be in the storm. And I'm going to say again, your imagination is incredibly powerful. The brain cannot change, the mind cannot tell the difference between imaginary and real. This is useful to you. This is what very successful people do. This is what athletes do. They imagine winning in great detail. So why can't you have it for free? Of course you can. And even if it didn't work out, so even if you looked at it and went, I'm trying to imagine this is easy, I can't, you've still paused. And the pausing is powerful because it breaks the reaction cycle. And then you're more likely to be able to start to get your control back. So just trying it is a win. And also it's an investment in yourself. And a lot of these bad days are when we are really harsh on ourselves and we're not looking after ourselves. We're not listening to what we really need. We're overdoing it. We're pushing against ourselves and we can't think clearly because we've become overwhelmed. The mind doesn't function as well when it's overwhelmed. It just doesn't. It can only see usually a rock and a hard place. So I can do this or I can do this and I've got no choice and I don't like it. Blah, 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 blah. Overwhelm is crap. It's just, it doesn't work properly for you. So just the acknowledgement of what's going on for you. So the self-reflection makes you more self-aware. Self-awareness is really helpful when done with kindness and love. Not self-awareness as in, oh, look at me, I'm hopeless, judge, negative. Get out of that. Be on your own side. Love yourself first. Really, really important. Then reflecting on where you are in your life. So if you're stuck in a kind of cycle of increasingly difficult to handle days, just noticing that, noticing how your reaction is working out for you. So if your reaction is making things feel worse, if it's draining, if it's making you snappier and less able to take things lightly, notice that completely neutrally, without judgment. Your mind's going to do the judgment. Just let it do that, but ignore it because it's naggy. You know, if it's nagging you, it's not on your side. You can choose to ignore it. That's okay. You have permission to ignore your own mind when it's being naggy. Of course you do. Take back control of your attention. Stupid mind. It's not stupid. Your mind's really, really brilliant. But it's evolved to keep you safe, but not necessarily happy. So that means it's going to tell you all of the stuff that might go wrong, and that's going to include you're not doing this well enough. Danger alert, you're a little bit crap. It's not much fun to listen to, so don't listen to it. It's easier than trying to stop it, because when you ignore stuff, it doesn't get your attention. Put your attention on what's important to you. So ask yourself, what would this look like if it were easy? And if you can even start to do this in a kind of playful way, a curious way, rather than a Heidi, you're being ridiculous, that's the most stupid question. If you can go, wow, look at this crazy stuff around me. So what would this look like if it were easy? And you can have fun with this, so you could have some crazy rescue team comes in and sorts your house out for you, sorts your business out for you, entertains your kids, gives you a massage. You can do what you want. You can make stuff up because it's your imagination, it's your life and it's your day. So turn your day around by using the power of your imagination. Genuinely pause and ask yourself, what would this look like if it were easy? Have fun with that. And then notice how you feel. Notice if actually that's changed how you're feeling, if that started to reset your nervous system, if that started to allow you to step back from the overwhelm and see that actually there are a million ways, not just two, and either of them you don't like. There is more than a rock and a hard place. There always is, but we can't see it because the mind shuts down into get through survival mode. And it's not a good place to be. So recognizing when your day feels tough, it might be because your viewpoint is not that advantageous to you, and stepping back from it and just laughing and kind of going, oh, imagine if this was easy. And then you can just, you can have fun with it. You can make up 20 different ways it could be easy. 20 different ways it could be easy, even if it's really hard. Doesn't really matter. Have fun with it. Change your viewpoint. Get out of overwhelm. Pause. Use these things. They work. Have fun with them. But please don't think you have to battle through tough days, because you don't. You have a choice. Yes, it takes practice, but the biggest thing it takes is the commitment to yourself to pause and try these things out. So this one is recognize, take note of what's going on in your life. Recognise your reactions. What do you want to do about it? If you want to do something about it, try this. You're in the middle of a tough day. Remember, pause. What would this look like if it were easy? Make some stuff up that's fun, and then notice how you feel. And if any of the things you made up can actually be used, woohoo! Well, that's useful information, isn't it? And you can use it or not. It's up to you. It's your tough day. You decide how you want it to be. Have fun with that. I'd love to know how you get on. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Overwhelm is Optional podcast. If you find this podcast has lifted your day, inspired you or helped you in any way, please take some time to subscribe or share it, or preferably both, so more people can find out about my work. To connect with me, please email me at heidi@heidimarke.co.uk. That's Heidi, Heidi, at heidimarke.co.uk, or visit me on all the normal social media platforms at Heidi Marke.